Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. And thank you for all of the new subscribers that have found my channel. It also is very humbling to me. The messages that I get, it means a lot. The comments that I get, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to be doing a quick one today on something that I do apologize. something that I wanted to share with you for quite some time, and I think I'm just going to jump straight into this. In life, it is so important to have hunger. You know, the word hunger to me, it means a lot. You know, it has depth to it. There is a lot to unpack in the word hunger, you know, in terms of the context of what this is. Are you hungry for life? You know, it is the hunger that drives us to do what we do. We are creatures of desire, and desire is, what we do. I desire to do this podcast. I desire to make a cup of coffee. I desire to go to sleep. It is the hunger that we have, the passion for life that drives us, the passion, the motivation. Why are we doing this? That is behind all things. When we find out someone's motivations, then we can find out what their intentions are. You know, have you ever heard the term, you never know someone until you say no to them? You know, there's quite a lot of truth in that. You know, we might all be playing nice right now, but a lot of people have other ulterior motives to why they do what they do. But just sharing with you, in the context of this, when I was younger, I was swimming. I used to be a swimmer. That was my life. Yep. If you're out there, maybe you followed a sport. Maybe you were on the track and field. You were running. Maybe you were high jumping. Or maybe it was more of a hobby. Maybe you were doing horse riding, or maybe you were making cakes. Whatever it was that you're doing, it was the way that it made us feel. That's why we do what we do. I would say I did do a podcast explaining to you that when we're in a relationship with someone, the reason that we're there is because of how they make us feel, okay? And then sometimes that the way that they make us feel might wane, like the moon, waxing and waning. And sometimes we lose that hunger for that other person. We don't desire them as much, or we, as humans, we're hardwired to find other connections sometimes, and we have a hunger for someone else. Hunger is so important because it keeps us in a place of commitment, and it keeps us in a place of always moving forward. When I meet people and they don't have a hunger for life, they don't have passion, say, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, someone that is sitting at a 1, who might seem very, very low energy, very tired, very lethargic, they're quite sleepy, they're quite, we all know people like this, like meh, take it or leave it, couldn't really be bothered with life, couldn't be bothered with what they're doing. That's low hunger level. When we meet someone who is a 10 and they are crazy about life, they can't wait to get up, they can't wait to get out there, they love to do what they do, they have passion and they have enthusiasm for what they do, and they're able to maintain that level of hunger for what they're doing. That's amazing. And that's what I'm looking for in my life. If I meet people that are low in what we call, if you've not heard this term, it's called fantasia and aphantasia. you know? So I won't go into that too much because I've explained it, which is Fantasia is illusion and dream state, and it is the creation of something. And aphantasia is the process of the creation of that and the enthusiasm that we have for fantasia, okay, for bringing something into the world, for creating something. Because all things come from our minds, you know, all buildings that were built came from aphantasia. And they came from fantasia as well. They came from places where people worked as engineers and worked with architects and worked out the weight ratios and thing of metal and concrete and building things. Everything that is ever here is imagined into existence, but it came from hunger. That is the force that's within us. In some cultures, this is called vata. A lot of vata energy is quite exciting to me personally. And so a lot of the fire signs, I've talked about this before, the Aries, the Sagittarians, and the Leos, holla, the Leos, they have a lot of fire in them. They have a lot of vata, a lot of life force, a lot of passion. Because it's one thing to have an idea. You've got an idea, yeah, but ideas come and go. It is the hunger and the passion that drives something into the physical world, that pushes it and gets us motivated and gets us through that task, gets us to paint that painting, gets us to run that marathon, gets us to finish that training session. Whatever it is, that's the force that pushes things out into the world. And so I will generally gravitate towards people, friends, whoever, that they may not necessarily have a lot of, fantasia, a lot of like dreams or direction in that sense, but they have the passion. And sometimes, being an artist, it is a dance between surrender and effort. So knowing when to go in really hard, and we go in and we get in there and we do it. And then times when we have time, to be more receptive and let things flow and not be so fixed on something. There's a time and space for everything. Sometimes sex can be really, intense and quite not violent, but quite primal. And other times sex can be very gentle and very soft and very, kind of receptive. So all things have a time and a space and a place. But what I look for in people and what I try to find in myself is the reasoning behind what I do. And having that hunger is that, when we want food, we want to consume something, we've got a lust for it. And we've got this thing inside of us sometimes where we just got to get it out, This excites me. And it excites me when I see it in other people because it's passion. And when someone is really passionate about something, it's infectious and it makes us feel good. When someone is not passionate about something, it feels low. It feels weak. It doesn't feel strong. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today. What are you hungry for? What are you hungry for? It's said that in the man, there is two dogs, the wolf and the dog. The wolf is the untamed version of the dog that is wild and needs to eat and fuck and hunt and kill. And some might say that's a bit extreme, but that is what a wolf does. It is a prey-stalking, lethal prowler. And then we have the dog, which is a domesticated version of the wolf that is loyal and dependable and is reliant on his master, that type of thing. And that's kind of the metaphor for society's rules, where we have to conform and we have to be a part of a system and we have to do things a certain way. But it is the balance in that within us, in the man, that brings out which side we honor more, of course, is which beast we feed. Do we feed the domesticated version, or do we feed the wolf? That's part of the Jung concepts. As you know, I'm quite familiar with him and his work. I'm also quite interested in Rudolf Steiner's work as well. So it's really interesting. But I feel like to live a life that is really, well lived, try and find people. My advice is try and find people that have that hunger within them. And, look for people that really inspire you, that uplift you. And they do it with not just words, because words are really easy. People can say they're going to do something, but people that really follow through with the action phase, And that's part of the thing that pushes things into the world is an idea is nothing without the action. It is the action that brings it into the world. And so it's about action, action, action. You said you were going to go to the gym, so just do what you fucking said you were going to do. Honor yourself, meet the discipline of yourself, and then find the motivation, within you. And it can come from many different places. Sometimes I'm motivated to prove someone wrong. Sometimes I'm motivated for my own personal satisfaction. We all have different motivational factors. And if we can take, for my example, you could take something that happened to you that was very painful and use it and alchemize that as fuel to propel you further. So, finding out your motivations is going to be connected to the why. Why are you doing this? And if you've lost your passion for something, if it's a relationship, or maybe like I was a swimmer for many years and I ended up, retiring, I ended up quitting. Well, I don't call it quitting. I call it just moving on, is that once I knew that my passion was gone and it had fleed me and I tried so hard to get it back and I couldn't get it back, rather than flogging a dead horse, I accepted that this chapter in my life had come to its conclusion, and I knew that it was time to call it a day. And so obviously, you take the lessons that you've learned from that experience and then you move into a different experience. And of course, it was all a learning experience. Being an athlete, being on pool deck every day for 2 sessions a day and going to swim meets and battling it out and all of the nutrition and the psychology and dealing with a team and dealing with some individuals in the team that you don't really get along with, that is a metaphor for the workplace. That is a metaphor for life. But there was a reason that I'd used to jump into that cold pool, because I had a passion and a fucking hunger for swimming. I loved it. I loved the cold mornings. I loved the tumble turns. I loved everything that encompassed, as painful as it was. And when my time had come and I knew that I had taken it as far as I could, I accepted it. And I took all of the skill sets that I'd learnt and I applied it into my life. And so that is what it is. But the main one that I look for in anyone isn't their knowledge. It's the energy that they bring into something where they're willing to learn, they're willing to grow, and they have that fire in their belly. They've got that fire, and that's why we're really here. And I don't hear people talking about that often. I don't hear it much mentioned, but in our psychology, what turns you on? What gets you juiced? What brings you joy? Move in that direction. That's the good thing. That's this, that's the, when I meet people and they don't know what they want, well, that tells me that they don't know how they feel. When someone doesn't know what they want, they don't know how they feel. So, and I can't help you with that. You have to know that for yourself. So you will move in the direction that brings you joy, finding things that bring you joy, because that's a clue to where your passion is. So I'm just sharing this with you. Sometimes, even the beautiful angels have to get down in the pig trough sometimes. So what I'm saying is it's okay. And just having the fire, getting that around you. So I'm a fire starter, triple fire sign. And yeah, I come into people's lives, I shake things up, I move around, I move really quick. You got to keep up or I leave you behind. I don't slow down and I don't wait for people. There's no waiting in life. If someone isn't where I need them or someone can't receive me, I don't waste time. I just move on. And I think that is because I have a passion and a belief that what you don't get today, you do get tomorrow. And that I will meet someone who is just as passionate about things that I'm interested in so that we can build commonality and have that stability and create something fantastic. So I hope that you found this chat insightful and, reminding you, if you're in a job or if you're in a relationship or if you're working on a project and you're just not feeling the passion and you've been working on it and you're trying, it is okay to accept that may not be there anymore. But I guarantee you will have it for something else. Sometimes it shifts and morphs, and that's okay. But be willing to focus and follow whatever it is that is, that you're interested in. Because that's really what pushes things out into the world, is when you push something out with your intention, that's where it is. And that comes from the force of the passion within you. So I hope that made sense in an occult sense, in a life sense, coming in with enthusiasm and just being hungry. So, rah. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I will see you in the next podcast. I am still continuing gathering questions for my Q&A, so I will be getting around to that. Probably will break it and divide it into two parts. Part 1, 15 questions, and then come back and do a part 2 in the second segment as well. So please send through any questions that you have for any topics that you'd like me to talk about. Life, astrology, psychology, spirituality, just anything in general, come at me. I will see you in the next podcast. Love and blessings to you. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Okay. Bye.